Imagine a place that is incredibly vast, a land where nature still rules. This is Alaska. It's a huge wilderness, a place often called the last frontier. Here, the landscapes are massive, and honestly, they're breathtaking. Towering mountains that touch the sky, their tops covered in a never-ending blanket of snow. These giant peaks stand like silent guards, watching over the wild lands below. The air is crisp and clean, so pure it feels like a forgotten memory from a long-ago past. This is a world where human hands have left almost no mark. It's a world of raw, untamed beauty, a testament to the power and majesty of the natural world. The sheer size of Alaska, well, it's hard to wrap your head around. It's so big it could swallow up many entire countries. Its coastline stretches for thousands of miles, where the land meets the waters of the Pacific and the cold, nutrient-rich Arctic. Deep fjords, carved by ancient glaciers, cut into the land like giant fingers. Vast forests thick with spruce and hemlock trees spread across the valleys like a green sea. These forests are ancient, holding the secrets of seasons long past. The light here plays tricks on your eyes. In summer, the sun barely sets, casting a golden glow for nearly 24 hours a day. In winter, darkness takes over, but the sky often comes alive with the magical dance of the northern lights. This is a land of dramatic opposites and harsh conditions. The seasons set the rhythm of life in a very powerful way. Winter brings extreme cold, a deep freeze that locks the land in ice and snow. Temperatures can drop to unthinkable levels, creating a tough environment for any living thing. But even in this harshness, there is a quiet beauty. The world becomes quiet, muffled by a thick layer of snow. Then, as the planet tilts, spring arrives. It's a time of incredible change. The ice begins to break, and rivers swell with meltwater, and life wakes up from its long sleep with a sudden, amazing burst of energy. Alaska's geography is as varied as it is grand. It's not just one environment, but a complex mix of many different habitats. There are the towering peaks of the Alaska Range, home to Denali, North America's highest mountain. There are the vast, treeless plains of the far northern tundra, where the ground is always frozen just below the surface. There are the temperate rainforests of the southeast, dripping with moisture and bursting with life. And then there are the glaciers, massive rivers of ice slowly making their way down the mountains, shaping the land as they go. Each of these environments presents a unique set of challenges and chances for the creatures that call them home. In this huge, grand landscape lives a truly amazing group of creatures. Alaska's wildlife is as famous as its mountains and its huge ice sheets. These are animals that have become symbols of the wild itself. The mighty grizzly bear, the grand moose, graceful caribou herds making great journeys across the tundra, the scary howl of the gray wolf echoing through the forests at night. These are not just animals. They are the spirit of this land. Life here is a never-ending story of fitting in and surviving. From the smallest bug to the largest whale, amazing ways to adapt. The short, busy summer, a race against time. Animals must find food and raise their young and get ready for the long, dark winter. Grizzly bears eat salmon, building up fat to last through hibernation. Caribou get fat on the rich tundra plants before their journey. Even plants have adapted, growing low to the ground and blooming quickly. It's a finely tuned orchestra of life where every member plays a key part. Rivers are full of salmon who return from the ocean in millions to the streams where they were born. It's a feast that supports bears, eagles, and the forests, which are fed by the nutrients from the fish bodies. In the cold waters off the coast, giants swim. Humpback whales jump out of the water, sending huge columns of spray into the air. Playful sea otters float on their backs, breaking shellfish on their chests. The ocean is a busy and important part of Alaska's ecosystem. This introduction is just a peek into the world of Alaska's wildlife. It's a world that is incredibly tough and surprisingly strong. The stories of these animals are tales of strength, smarts, and a deep connection to their surroundings. When we look closely, we'll see how these creatures don't just survive, but truly thrive. We'll explore their special behaviors, their amazing intelligence, and the complex web of life that links them all. Alaska's wildlife is a treasure, a living reminder of what the world was like long before our time, and a legacy we must try to understand and protect for the future. The mountains of Alaska are more than just rocks and ice. They are the backbone of this great land, shaping its weather and directing the flow of life within it. These aren't gentle, rolling hills. They are rugged, majestic peaks that reach for the sky, creating a dramatic and awe-inspiring landscape. The Alaska Range, the Brooks Range, stretches for hundreds of miles, a seemingly endless wall of granite and snow. The air at these high altitudes is thin and cold. The weather is unpredictable and can change in an instant, from brilliant sunshine to a blinding blizzard. These mountains are a place of raw power, a world where only the toughest creatures can find a foothold and make a life against all odds. Life in these high-altitude environments is a constant challenge. Growing seasons are incredibly short, and the terrain is steep and unforgiving. Yet some animals have mastered this vertical world. The Dall sheep, with its shiny white coat, is a true symbol of the Alaskan mountains. They are expert climbers, navigating near vertical slopes with an agility that truly defies belief. Their specialized hooves provide incredible grip on rocky edges, allowing them to escape predators and find patches of sparse vegetation. In the fall, powerful rams engage in spectacular battles, their massive curling horns clashing with a sound that echoes through the silent valleys, a primal contest for dominance and the right to mate. Another master of the high mountain regions is the mountain goat. Though often confused with the Dall sheep, it is a distinct species, perfectly adapted to the most extreme alpine habitats. Their thick, woolly fur provides insulation against the biting winds and cold. They possess a near-supernatural climbing ability, seemingly glued to rock faces as they search for lichens and moss. These goats rarely venture into the valleys, preferring the safety of the high peaks where predators like wolves struggle to follow. To see a mountain goat perched on a tiny ledge, thousands of feet up in the air, is to witness a true marvel of natural engineering and survival against gravity itself. The mountains are not just home to these specialized climbers, they are also hunting grounds for some of Alaska's most elusive predators. The wolverine, a creature of legendary strength and ferocity, roams these rocky slopes. Despite its relatively small size, it is powerful and brave, capable of taking down prey much larger than itself. Golden eagles soar on thermal currents, their keen eyes scanning the ground below for marmots or ground squirrels. Even grizzly bears will venture into the alpine meadows during summer, searching for nutritious roots and hunting small mammals, showing the interconnectedness of these high and low ecosystems. Beneath the bare, rocky peaks, the landscape transforms into a vast, whispering green sea. Alaska's huge forests cover millions of acres. They are a dense, mysterious world of towering trees. Inside, the boreal forests, or taiga, are dominated by black spruce, white spruce, birch, and aspen. These forests are shaped by a cycle of fire and regrowth, a natural process that renews the landscape. To the south lies a temperate rainforest, Sitka spruce, western hemlock, and drooping, moss-covered branches. The air is humid and smells richly of earth, a constant whisper of life beneath the canopy. This forest is a haven and hunting ground for animals. The mighty moose roams here. Its long legs allow it to wade through snow and swamps. It feeds on willow and birch leaves, bark, and twigs. Clumsy in appearance, yet it is fast and quiet. A male moose with antlers spanning over 6 feet, an epic sight. The forests are home to the gray wolf. They live in packs, cooperating to hunt and raise their young. Its howl echoes across the distances. Wolves control the populations of herbivores like moose and caribou, often misunderstood but essential for balance. The forest canopy and the ground beneath are teeming with life. A red squirrel climbs and gathers spruce cones. A porcupine slowly ambles. Defensive quills, the tiny chickadee, the majestic bald eagle. The forest floor is covered in moss and needles, insects, fungi, and small mammals, all intertwined in the intricate web of life. This green sea is a world of shadow and light, the wild heart of Alaska. Alaska is a land shaped by ice. Huge glaciers, leftovers from the last ice age, keep shaping the land with incredible power. These aren't just still blocks of ice. These are rivers that move slowly. They slide downhill because of their enormous weight. Imagine a river made of solid ice, miles long and hundreds of feet wide. It carves its way through hard rock. The sound of a glacier is like a symphony. The crackling, the groaning, deep sounds like thunder. Huge chunks of ice break off its front. This is called calving. Massive icebergs fall into the sea. Icebergs fall into glacial lakes. It's an amazing sight that shows the raw power of nature. These frozen rivers are born high in the mountains, where more snow falls in winter than melts in summer. Over hundreds of years, Layers of snow get pressed down, turning into very dense ice. The ice takes in all colors of light except blue, which gives it an amazing sparkle. A glacier acts like a giant bulldozer. It also works like a conveyor belt. It creates U-shaped valleys. It makes mountain peaks sharp like horns. It scrapes the Earth's surface. It carries glacial debris, large amounts of rocks and dirt. It dumps this debris along its sides and at its front. This geological work is slow but never stops. It creates dramatic fjords and valleys that shape Alaska's coast and inland areas. Even though it looks harsh, life finds a way. Glacier worms live inside the glacier. They come out at night to eat algae on the snow. Snow algae make watermelon snow. It gives the snow a light pinkish-red color. These tiny creatures create a simple but important food web. They feed insects and birds that venture into the frozen areas. The melting water is a lifeline. It creates rivers and lakes that are milky white and turquoise blue. The color comes from fine, ground-up rocks floating in the water. This water feeds large river systems and carries nutrients to the sea. Glaciers are like water towers. They store fresh water. Their health is important for the ecosystem, from salmon to bears and eagles. The slow beat of the ice is connected to the living beat of life throughout the whole state. The melted water from glaciers and the mountain snowpack feed this network. Lakes and rivers act like crystal veins for the earth. These are not warm, calm bodies of water. They are cold, clear, and full of energy. The mighty Yukon River, the Copper River, powerful forces carving their way through the wilderness, constantly changing their path, shaping the land, millions of lakes, small ponds hidden in the tundra, huge bodies of water like Lake Iliamna. It looks like an inland sea. This aquatic world is part of Alaska's identity, a home and pathways for wildlife. Cold, oxygen-rich water creates amazing fish populations. Alaska is famous for its salmon, the king, the sockeye, the coho, the pink, the chum, a journey from the ocean to freshwater streams, an amazing natural sight. Millions of fish fighting against the strong current and passing hungry predators. The rivers turn red with sockeye carcasses. The water boils with activity. The flow of protein and nutrients is a cornerstone of the coastal system. The abundance of fish supports aquatic and semi-aquatic animals. Harbor seals appear in the estuaries. Otters slide and hunt. The beaver, nature's engineer, builds dams creating ponds and wetlands. Beaver ponds are habitats for moose, for waterfowl, and other species, changing the landscape around them. Arctic grayling flutter in the streams. Northern pike lurk in the shallow weeds. Huge trout live for decades in the cold lakes, a complex and thriving underwater world. The health of these rivers and lakes reflects the health of the land, a pure circulatory system that supports the heart of Alaska's wilderness. Winter in Alaska isn't just a season, it's a powerful force that changes the world. As the short, lively summer fades, the land gets ready for a long, deep period of cold. The sun drops lower in the sky each day, and its warmth becomes a distant memory. Temperatures start their steady drop, often going down to levels that are hard for people to truly understand. A deep, biting cold settles over the mountains, the forests, and the tundra, locking the ground in a solid, unyielding freeze. Rivers and lakes disappear under thick layers of ice. A heavy blanket of snow covers the landscape, turning it into a vast, silent white space. This is the Great Winter Challenge, a test of endurance for every living thing. The changes winter brings are dramatic and complete. The world of plenty and easy food almost vanishes overnight. Lush green plants hide under the snow. The many insects are gone, either dead or sleeping. Rivers full of migrating salmon are now quiet and frozen. This lack creates huge stress on wildlife. Winter becomes a desperate daily search for calories, a constant fight to find enough energy to stay warm. The darkness also grows. Some parts of Alaska have almost total darkness for months. This is a mental and physical challenge for creatures used to the rhythm of day and night. This world demands new skills for survival. What worked in summer is now useless. The rules of the game have changed. Speed, quickness, are less important than being able to save energy and handle the cold. Finding food is no longer about grazing, but about digging through deep snow or hunting other desperate animals. The landscape itself becomes an obstacle. Deep snow tires out even the strongest. Every move must be thought about carefully. Wasted effort can mean death. The sheer power of the cold is the ultimate enemy. It sucks the heat from any living body. To survive, an animal must make more heat, or find ways to stop losing it. This is a basic law of physics that rules life in Alaskan winter. The air can be so cold it feels sharp, and any exposed skin is at risk of instant frostbite. Wind adds another layer of danger, taking away precious warmth and making the actual temperature feel even colder. For Alaska's wildlife, enduring this months-long attack of extreme cold is their greatest achievement, a testament to their amazing toughness and the power of evolution. To face the challenge of the harsh winter, Alaska's animals have developed an amazing set of strategies. The most obvious and common adaptation is the growth of a thick insulating layer. Muskox, Dall sheep, snowshoe hare. They grow thick winter fur that traps a layer of air close to their bodies, acting like a natural warm jacket. The muskox has one of the warmest furs in the animal kingdom, with long guard hairs that shed snow and a soft, dense undercoat called kiviot. Similarly, birds fluff up their feathers to create air pockets, providing amazing insulation. This simple and effective strategy is the first line of defense against the bitter cold, a vital shield against the elements. Another key strategy is changing color. The snowshoe hare, the ptarmigan, and the Arctic fox all go through a remarkable change, shedding their brown summer fur for a bright white winter coat. This allows them to blend seamlessly with their snowy surroundings, making them almost invisible to both predators and prey. The snowshoe hare, a vital food source for many, relies on its white fur to avoid the sharp eyes of the lynx and owls. This seasonal change in appearance is a perfect example of how animals precisely adapt to the rhythms of their environment. For many animals, the best way to deal with winter is to avoid its worst parts altogether. Hibernation and migration, grizzly bears and black bears enter a deep sleep in dens they dig into hillsides. During this time, their heart rate, breathing, and metabolism slow down a lot, allowing them to survive for months on the fat reserves they built up during the summer. Meanwhile, huge herds of reindeer undertake one of the largest land migrations on the planet, traveling hundreds of miles from their summer grounds in the north to more protected, forested areas in the south. This is a huge adventure, a long and dangerous journey to escape the harshest conditions. Behavioral adaptations are just as important as physical ones. Many animals change their daily routines to save energy. They might become less active, spending more time resting in sheltered spots. Some, like the red squirrel, create huge underground food stores called middens, which they rely on throughout the winter. Wolves and lynx have large paws that act like snowshoes, allowing them to travel over deep snow more efficiently than their prey. Even the tiny chickadee has a cool adaptation. It can lower its body temperature at night to save energy. These clever behaviors and physical features, developed over thousands of years, allow Alaska's wildlife to not just endure winter but truly master it. In the vast wilderness of Alaska, no animal is more respected or captures the imagination quite like the great bear. This category includes both the grizzly bear and its coastal cousin, the brown bear, which can grow to truly enormous sizes. These are not simple beasts. They are intelligent, complex creatures with distinct personalities and deep social lives. The dedication of a mother bear to her cubs is a story of deep commitment. For 2 to 3 years, she is their sole protector, teacher, and provider. She shows them what to eat. She shows them where to find it. She shows them how to avoid the dangers of their world. She will fiercely defend them against any threat, including larger male bears, displaying a maternal courage that inspires awe. One of the most amazing stories of the Alaskan bear is its relationship with the annual salmon migration. Millions of fish pour into the rivers to spawn. Bears gather at strategic locations such as waterfalls and shallow waters to feast on a seasonal banquet. It's not chaos, but skill and social order. Experienced bears know the fishing spots, and they know the fishing techniques. Some stand patiently mid-current. Others dive from the bank with surprising agility. There's a clear hierarchy. The big males occupy the prime spots. Younger bears and mothers with cubs wait and learn by watching. This gathering allows them to build up fat reserves for winter hibernation. Bears have an amazing mental map of their territories. They know their home ranges intimately. They remember the locations of berry patches. They remember the best routes through the mountains. They know where to dig for nutritious plant roots. And they know where to dig for ground squirrels. Much of this knowledge is learned by the cubs from their mother. Scientists have observed bears using tools, like holding a stone to scratch an itch on their back. This is a sign of their cognitive abilities. They have a wide range of vocalizations and body language, soft grunts between a mother and her cubs, a frightening roar during a confrontation. Yet the story of the bear is also one of vulnerability. They are sensitive to changes in the environment. A lack of salmon has dire consequences. It affects reproduction, and it affects winter survival. They have a slow reproductive rate. Females only have a few litters, so their numbers take time to recover. The great bear is a symbol of wild Alaska, a powerful presence that shapes the ecosystem, a reminder that even the strongest creatures depend on a healthy environment. If the bear is the undisputed king of the wild, then the gray wolf is its strategic soul. Wolves are a picture of social teamwork and toughness. They live and hunt in family groups called packs, and are usually led by an alpha pair, the breeding male and female. The bonds within the pack are incredibly strong. They work together with amazing coordination to hunt large prey like moose and caribou. Their hunts aren't just about brute force, they involve complex strategy, with some wolves driving the prey out while others wait in ambush. This teamwork is key to their survival in a land where food can be scarce. The wolf's famous howl is more than just a spooky sound in the night. It's a very advanced way of talking to each other. Howls are used to gather the pack before a hunt, to warn rival packs to stay out of their territory, and simply to strengthen social bonds. Each wolf has a unique voice, and by howling together in a chorus, they can create the illusion of a much larger pack, a clever trick to scare away intruders. The pack is also a nursery. All members help raise the pups, bringing them food and acting as babysitters while the alpha female joins the hunt. This group effort ensures the next generation has the best possible chance to survive and pass on the pack's knowledge and traditions. Soaring high above the forests and rivers is another Alaskan symbol, the bald eagle. With its striking white head and tail, and a wingspan that can stretch over 7 feet, it's truly a majestic bird of prey. Alaska is home to the largest population of bald eagles in the United States, and their presence is a sign of a healthy aquatic ecosystem. Like the bears, their lives are deeply tied to salmon. During the salmon run, hundreds of eagles might gather along a single stretch of river, their piercing cries filling the air. Perched high in the treetops, their keen eyes scan the water below for a weak or post-spawned fish, playing a vital role as nature's cleanup crew. The life of an eagle is a story of partnership and loyalty. Bald eagles typically mate for life, returning to the same nest year after year. These nests, called eyries, can become massive structures, with the pair adding new material each season. They are often built in the tallest trees, offering a commanding view of their territory. Both parents share the duties of incubating eggs and feeding their young. Watching a pair of eagles work together to raise their young is a powerful display of cooperation. From the coordinated hunting of a wolf pack to the lifelong partnership of the bald eagle, the stories of these creatures reveal that in the Alaskan wilderness, connection and community are as essential for survival as individual strength. For thousands of years, people have been a part of Alaska's story. The first people of this land, the Alaska Natives, developed a deep and very complex relationship with the wilderness. They didn't see themselves as separate from nature, but as a key part of it. Their cultures are built on a foundation of respect for the animals, the rivers, the seasons, for groups like the Inupiat in the north, the Yupik in the west, and the Tlingit in the southeast. Survival depended on a deep knowledge of the environment. They learned the migration paths of caribou, the habits of seals, and the timing of salmon runs. This wasn't just information. It was sacred wisdom passed down through generations. This traditional way of life is about balance and give and take. When a hunter took an animal, it was with thanks and celebration. There was a belief that the animal had offered itself to the hunter, and in return, every part of the animal was used. The meat provided food, the hides provided clothing and shelter, and bones were carved into tools and art. This way of thinking made sure that human communities could thrive for thousands of years without using up the resources they depended on. The stories, songs, and dances of Alaska Natives are filled with the spirits of animals. This shows a worldview where the lives of people and wildlife are woven together in one vibrant fabric. The connection to the land isn't just about physical survival, it's at the heart of their cultural and spiritual identity. The seasonal cycles set the rhythm of life. The arrival of salmon is a time for celebration and community gathering. The caribou migration is a time of intense activity and getting ready for winter. Even the harshness of winter is embraced, a time for storytelling and strengthening family bonds. This deep repeating relationship allowed these communities to survive in one of the world's toughest environments. It's proof of how well humans can adapt and the power of living in harmony with the natural world instead of trying to conquer it. Today, many Alaska natives continue to live a subsistence lifestyle, mixing traditional knowledge with modern tools. They still hunt, fish, and gather as their ancestors did, keeping a direct connection to their heritage and the food that sustains them. This way of life is vital for their culture to continue. It provides not only physical food, but also spiritual and social well-being. The wisdom held by these first peoples offers a powerful lesson to the modern world. It's a reminder that a lasting relationship with wildlife is not only possible, but built on deep respect, understanding, and the knowledge that our well-being is tied to the health of the planet. The arrival of new settlers brought a different view of Alaska's wildlands. For many, this vast land wasn't just a home to share. Instead, it was a treasure chest of resources to be used. The fur trade, the gold rush, the oil industry. This created a new and often conflicting relationship between people and wildlife. Roads were built, towns popped up, industrial growth began to close in on untouched habitats. The size and speed of this change brought a new challenge to the delicate balance and put great pressure on animal populations and ecosystems. Today, living in Alaska means navigating a complex world of coexistence. In cities like Anchorage, it's not unusual for a moose to wander into a suburban backyard or for a black bear to check out a trash can. This closeness creates moments of wonder and the chance for conflict. People who choose to live here must learn new rules: how to secure their food and trash, how to give wildlife enough space, and how to act safely during an unexpected encounter. It needs constant awareness and a willingness to change behavior. This daily interaction is a reminder that the wilderness isn't far away. Managing this relationship is one of the biggest challenges facing the state. Scientists and wildlife managers are trying to find a balance between development and the needs of wildlife. They track animal populations, study their movements, create hunting and fishing rules to keep them sustainable, educate the public, and encourage practices that reduce negative interactions, creating wildlife crossings to help animals move safely, and programs to protect important areas from development. A careful and ongoing balance to preserve the wild nature and allow communities to thrive. In the end, the future of Alaska's wildlife depends on our choices. The growing impact of climate change, the demand for natural resources, and the expansion of human presence, these are all big threats. The challenge is to move forward with foresight and responsibility, learning from the wisdom of Alaska's first peoples and with the best science available. The relationship between people and wildlife here is a small example of a global struggle. Alaska is a test case. Can we live alongside the wilderness as respectful and responsible partners? Alaska's amazing wildlands, which have stood strong for thousands of years, are now facing a new and hidden danger. This challenge isn't just one predator or a harsh winter, but a worldwide issue: climate change. Alaska is getting warmer more than twice as fast as the rest of the United States, and the effects are already big and clear. The most dramatic effect is on the ice that defines so much of this land. Huge glaciers, those slow-moving rivers of ice that carved out the mountains, are shrinking at a worrying speed. As they melt, they release huge amounts of fresh water into the ocean, which makes sea levels rise and changes how salty and warm coastal environments are, which are vital for fish and sea mammals. The loss of sea ice in the Arctic Ocean is another serious result. For animals like the polar bear and the walrus, sea ice isn't just frozen water, it's the base of their existence. Polar bears rely on this floating platform to hunt seals, their main food source. As the ice melts earlier in spring and forms later in autumn, their hunting season gets shorter. This forces them to spend more time on land, where food is scarce, leading to them being underfed and their numbers dropping. Similarly, walruses use the edge of the sea ice to rest between their dives for clams on the seafloor. Without it, thousands are forced to crowd onto land in huge, dangerous groups, where stampedes can be deadly, especially for the young ones. Rising temperatures are also changing the landscape on land. Permafrost, the permanently frozen ground that lies beneath much of the state, has started to thaw. This creates an unstable and unpredictable environment known as thermokarst, where the ground can collapse, forming holes and lakes. This process harms forests, causing trees to lean at strange angles in what's called drunken forests, and messes up the delicate tundra ecosystem. The thawing permafrost also releases huge amounts of stored carbon and methane, which are greenhouse gases that speed up the warming that caused the thawing in the first place, creating a dangerous feedback loop with worldwide consequences. This changing climate also invites new species to move north, while putting pressure on local animals that are used to the cold. Warmer, shorter winters might seem good, but they can upset the delicate balance of the ecosystem. For example, warmer conditions can allow insect pests like the spruce bark beetle to thrive, leading to widespread tree death and increasing the risk of huge wildfires. The complex timing of the seasons, which controls migrations, breeding, and food availability, is being thrown into chaos. Caribou, ptarmigan, and Arctic hares, all masters of dealing with the cold, are now facing a world where their old adaptations might not fit perfectly. With these big problems, the need to protect the environment is more important now than ever before. The future of Alaska's animals doesn't just depend on how well the animals can adapt. It also depends on what people do and the choices they make. Protecting this wild place needs many different kinds of actions. Scientific research, smart policies, a global promise to fight climate change. Groups that protect nature and government agencies are working very hard. They watch animal numbers, find important places for them to live, and make plans to lessen the effects of a world that is getting warmer. This includes trying to protect key salmon rivers from pollution caused by factories, and creating safe paths that let animals move and adjust to changing conditions. Education plays a very important part in this effort. By sharing the amazing stories of Alaska's animals, we can help people care more about this special natural system and inspire a sense of responsibility. When people understand the complicated connections, how healthy salmon affect bears, and how the fate of sea ice decides if polar bears will survive. For visitors who come to Alaska, responsible tourism is key. A group of tourists in a small boat watches humpback whales from a safe distance with an iceberg in the background. Choosing tour guides who respect wildlife, keeping a safe and respectful distance from animals, and leaving no trace in the untouched nature. Alaska's story is a strong call to action. It's like a living lab that shows us right now what happens when our planet changes. The problems the creatures here face are a clear warning to the rest of the world. The future of the Arctic isn't a problem that stands alone, it's closely connected to the world's climate system. Protecting Alaska isn't just about saving bears and eagles. It's about keeping our planet's variety of life, keeping our oceans healthy, and protecting a wild world full of wonders. The spooky howl of the wolf and the grand flight of the eagle are not just sounds and sights. They are the voice of a wilderness asking us to listen. In the end, protecting Alaska's animals shows what kind of people we are. It's a test of whether we can look beyond our immediate needs and think about what we leave for future generations. This land reminds us of the raw power and amazing beauty of the natural world, a world that was here long before us and deserves to stay here after we're gone. We have a shared job to make sure the big bear keeps catching salmon, and that caribou keep making their long journeys, and that Alaska's huge, quiet landscapes remain a symbol of true, untamed wilderness for hundreds of years to come. The time to act is now.